Let's bring in House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Whip, Majority Whip, Congressman, great to see you as always. So if these Democrats are trying to push Joe Biden and the executive branch to throw out a bunch of executive orders and edicts before Donald Trump is inaugurated, can't you, the Congress, well, the House-controlled, the Republican-controlled House, use the Congressional Review Act to just chuck them on the tire fire, so to speak? Because I know that during President Trump's first term, the Republican Congress used it on 16 different rules. When it had only been used once in the past. And I think so far there are 56 regulatory actions that could be repealed with the Congressional Review Act.
You are correct, Dagan, and you also have an incoming President Donald J. Trump that could undo every one of these ridiculous requests in his first hour of presidency. These House Democrats probably should have thought about this when they let Nancy Pelosi and the Obamas and Chuck Schumer push Joe Biden off the cliff, Dagan. I don't know that Joe Biden owes them anything after the way they ended his political career. So it's pretty rich to watch what they're doing right now.
Congressman, you got a lot of outsiders coming in with this administration. You got Vivek, Elon, RFK, Pete Hegseth, our own. I'm just wondering, how will they get along? Are they going to be treated like second-class citizens by the folks that have been there, or will they really be able to cooperate with a lot? And I'm not implicating yourself, but there are a lot of Congress people that are kind of well held by the special interest inside the Beltway.
Well, look, David, we're ready to go on day one. If you look at what the House did in the last 2 years, the Republican-controlled House, we passed an energy bill. We passed the strongest border security bill in 20 years, and the list goes on and on. A debt ceiling agreement, all kinds of things. Largest cost decrease in history with Republicans only. That being said, we've got so much work to do, and these guys are coming in. The president ran as the change agent. People want change. He got a significant mandate, David. I think every elected official that's coming into Congress and that's already here and coming into the Senate and that's already there understands the American people have spoken. They want the Trump agenda, and on day one, we're going to start delivering.
You are the whip of the House, and you are the man who counts the votes, Congressman, and you've already had 3 members join the Trump administration. Matt Gaetz already resigning from the House, and it is going to be awfully hard to pass bills with a just 1 or 2 seat majority. Should these members stay put or return to the House to get the job done?
Dagan, I trust President Trump and his team. They know what they're doing. When it comes to the House, I'm smiling when you say it's going to be awfully tough with 1 or 2. Dagan, that's essentially what we've had over the last year, for better parts of the last year. I got to tell you, I don't give a darn whether it's 222, 225, 218. As long as we have a majority, we can deliver with Donald J. Trump for the American people.
I just want to follow up on that. Democrats and dirty tricks, it doesn't rhyme. But it's synonymous. And because the Republicans now control the Senate, you aren't worried about shenanigans at all with a very thin majority, particularly while those seats are being filled?
Actually, I think we're going to be just as efficient as we were in this Congress that we're just wrapping up right now, Dagan. I mean, we're going to finish the year with 220 now. Which is a 2-seat, 218 to 220, a 2-seat advantage. And we're going to be able to get the work done. It really isn't about the number. It's about people understanding what the mandate is and what the mission is. And then we've got something that we haven't had the last 2 years. We're going to have the Donald J. Trump in the White House, and he can be very effective.
Well, one thing we all don't have enough of is time. And you've got to do this real quick. You got to get things like the Doge. I know Elon is already working on cutting waste and spending and so forth. And I mean, he's got a whole crew there. They're going to have thousands of people working with him, helping him out. But you've got to pass it fast, because the longer you wait, the more those special interests are going to dig in and demand that they keep getting a piece of that pie. How quickly can you get some of this done? The Doge report, putting those into action, the new tax cuts that the president wants in, all that stuff. How quickly can it be done?
Well, it depends on the end of the year, what we go into next year with. Assuming we go into next year and hit reconciliation right away, you could get the tax stuff done in the first quarter of next year. When it comes to DOGE,
I just want to emphasize that. First quarter of 2025, you're suggesting you'll have the new tax code in place.
Tax code, you will obviously make the Trump tax cuts permanent. And you will.
But with all that the president wants, the new no tax for tips,
Yeah.
no tax for overtime, et cetera.
So, David, reconciliation is how that's done. And what I said was, assuming we can start with reconciliation right when we come back, I think you could get it out within the first quarter of the year. And then when it comes to the DOGE, I'll leave that to Elon and Vivek. But the fun part about this is you can't fix this place with people who are from this place.
Right.
And we've got a president who is here to make change, and he's bringing some of the most unique picks for leadership around the country. They don't come from here. They're going to come in here, and they're going to start to take this thing apart, because for far too long, this place has been run. The insane asylum has been run by the patients. Time that the people take back control of their government, and we're on our way.
Amen. Before we go, Congressman, so you've been in meetings all this week. Are all the Republican members in the House in agreement, committed to sticking together on the agenda of President Trump?
Listen, Dagan, there's so much love here, you have no idea, and joy and everything else that our colleagues across the aisle want to talk about. Look, the beauty of the Republican Party is we are going to have disagreements. Just because you get elected as a Republican, it doesn't mean all of a sudden you give up your independence. People in Washington, D.C. need to represent the people at home first. As long as they're doing that, they can help us with the agenda, and they will. And that's how you stay united. But there's nothing wrong, as you know, Dagan, I'm a coach. There's nothing wrong with people running into each other and working things out and being human. We're gonna do that, but we're going to succeed, and we're going to be winning for the American people.
Coach Tom Emmer, thank you so much, Coach. Appreciate you coming in today.